Do you need this, Mrs. Kemp?
I begin this channel's reviews with a film that many consider to be one of, if not the best film of 2010. Fanboys and critics alike ranked it in their top 10 lists, and it was even nominated for an Oscar for Best Film. It has been hailed as mind-blowing, a masterpiece, and an instant classic. Of course, I'm talking about Inception, a film so awe-inspiring in its conceit and execution that it has actually ended wars, restored economies, and discovered the cure for AIDS. Well, maybe not all of those things, but to hear the fanboys rave, you'd think Inception was the cinematic equivalent of Christ's second coming. A little backstory. Once upon a time, when Chris Nolan was 16 years old, he came up with this idea about a man or men who had the ability to enter dreams of others and engage in all sorts of mischief. This story was wholly original at the time. Nothing even remotely like it had been seen. Well, there was Dreamscape, about people with the power to enter dreams to help patients deal with their psychological issues. And there was, too, the Nightmare on Elm Street series about a serial killer named Freddy Krueger who murdered you in your dreams. But Inception was about an entire team of people entering a dream collectively with a specific purpose. Nothing before had ever been made like that except, well, there was a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, about a group of teens who go into a collective dream to take on Freddy, but take my word for it, Inception is wholly original. So what if Dreamscape and Nightmare on Elm Street 3 were in theaters when Nolan was a teenager, roughly the time he claimed to have come up with Inception? Inception is wholly original, I tell you. Actually, the idea is pretty cool. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Cobb, an extractor, that is, an agent who specializes in going into your dreams and extracting information. And he's hired by a corporate billionaire named Saito to go into the dreams of a business rival and plant information that will inspire said rival to dissolve his corporation. Sounds thrilling, right? Right? One corporate billionaire trying to unseat another? Riveting stuff, right? Actually, for me, Inception suffers from what I felt were poorly drawn characters with motivations that didn't matter. Granted, the special effects were nice, particularly the scene of Paris folding over on itself and the zero-gravity fight. But for the most part, I really didn't care what happened to these people. And that's a damn shame, because with a little more emotional investment, I might have ranked this film as one of my all-time favorites. As such, for me, it's a forgettable little FX vehicle that put my wife to sleep and left me checking my watch periodically. The film's final shot of the top, which apparently elicited collective gasps in theaters across the world, was little more than a cheat constructed to manipulate less thoughtful filmgoers into believing that Inception had more going for it than it really did. American humorist Don Marquis once said, "If you make people think they're thinking, they'll love you. But if you really make them think, they'll hate you." I hate to break it to you people, but Inception did the former, not the latter. Films that really make you think are consigned to cult status, like David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch, or worse, they're forgotten altogether, like Steven Soderbergh's Kafka. The fact that so many people love Inception, some even ranking it above Dark Knight as Nolan's best film, if you can believe that, shows that there was not a lot of thinking going on in the summer of 2010. There was, however, some fairly duplicitous cinematic sleight of hand. Congratulations, fanboys. Yet again, you've been duped by the studio machine. Sweet dreams.
All right, we've seen what you can do with a boy. How are you when they come a little bigger?